Yes, and good morning, one and all. Good morning. Welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption Incompetence. Welcome, one and all. It's good to see you here on this Monday. Even though it's a public holiday in Guyana, I see that the students in the schoolyard are here in their numbers. Welcome. Today is the 16th day of September 2024. And here we are for another episode, for another what promises to be another informative and very exciting episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption Incompetence. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio, waiting, rearing, and ready to go. So welcome. And you know the ritual. You come on, share the live, give us a thumbs up. And the thumbs up we're referring to is on when the program goes live, like now. Now you have to give us the thumbs up. I can see hundreds of students already in this class, and just a few thumbs up. You got to do your thing, man. You have to do what you have to do, and we will do what we have to do. So give us a thumbs up. Yes, I see it's increasing now. Give us a thumbs up. Give us the encouragement. Show your appreciation, and we will continue to come here to bring you the credible and valuable information. A wonderful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. Many persons would not have been this fortunate. And you know, when I got some announcements to make, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. So share the live. Let's celebrate being in the land of the living. It's a privilege to be in the land of the living. The Almighty has blessed us to see another day. So sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable, and we are going to delve into the issues that we have to deal with today. I want to, the last program we had on Wednesday, it was a bit truncated because I had a very important appointment I could not have missed. I could not have rescheduled. So I had to be there. And therefore, you get a little short change. I know some of you are going to complain. You get short change on Wednesday. But I've said we're going to make it up at some time. I don't know when, but we are going to make it up. We will not deny you. We will not deny you the opportunity to hear what is going on. And you know the truth. We come here, we tell the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We come, we bring you the truth, and we say the truth shall set you free. Let me remind you that even when they write, as Michael Young did and others did recently, Kwame McCoy went and said, "Oh, slow lying." So they have never pointed to any specific incident and said, "Well, this is not true." They have never, and I challenge them to point out anything that we have said, to bring evidence to show that we are not speaking the truth. It is the fact. When we talk about these things, it's the fact. It annoys them, it irritates them, but the truth has a way of doing that. And that is not going to deter us or deter me from coming here and giving you the truth. All the threats to my life and all of that type of thing would not deter me. I am going to continue to come here and to bring the truth because people want to know the truth. They come with their propaganda. They tell you all type of thing, and when you get the truth, and people, sensible people as we all are, realize that what they're telling you is lies, and the truth will be known. We will ensure that we make the truth known. And it's not like what Trump advised some years ago, Kellyanne Conway talk about alternative facts. Not alternative facts. These are the facts. And as the former commissioner would say, Henry Fraser, facts are stubborn things. No matter what you do, they're not going to go anyplace. And we're going to bring the facts to you, students. So yes, come, give us a thumbs up. And I must implore you to share the live. You know, today is a holiday in Guyana in respect of Yomanabi. And a lot of people might have felt that we were not going to be on. As a matter of fact, a lot of people reached out to find out if we were going to have a program today. And yes, we advised them, yes, we're going to have a program. And then, a matter of fact, then is when I remember I did not put up the notification for the program. And I immediately did so that people are aware that notwithstanding the fact that it's an holiday in Guyana, in respect of human habit, we are going to come to class and we are going to teach what we have to teach. And perhaps I should start off by saying happy human habit to all my Muslim brothers and sisters. Today is that day, public holiday, and they are observing. That's the religion. They are observing human nabi. As my late friend Ransford we used to say Yuman Nabi. He never used to say Yuman Nabi, Yuman Nabi. He pronounced it always this way, Yuman Nabi. That is what he used to say. So yeah, today's Yuman Nabi. Happy Yuman Nabi to all my Muslim brothers and sisters, wherever they are. I know that some of them are on this program now, but wherever you are, whether you're on the program, whether you're not on the program, whether you're in Guyana, whether you're out of Guyana, I hope you enjoy your holiday. I also want to say happy 50th anniversary to Course 75. I know you're surprised that I'm saying it. Course 75. You know, our course was Course 74. Joined, some came in on the 15th of February, some came in on the 4th of March, 1974. And immediately when we left training school on the 4th of September, 1974, the other course, Course 74, came in. People like retired Deputy Commissioner Wills, I know Orin Major, London, and a lot of those guys came in on the 15th of September, 1974. So yesterday they would have observed the 50th anniversary. So congratulations to them. Now, I announced some time ago the death of a very good friend, a very dear friend, John Ames. He was, we had the funeral service on Friday in Brooklyn, and the burial was on Saturday. And, you know, it was very, very emotional. Commissioner Cole, yes, I did. Commissioner Cole said it was nothing wrong for a grown man to shed a few tears. And I did shed a few tears for my squad mate on Saturday. It was so moving. You know, let me tell you this. I have lost a few friends in recent times. Perhaps I can begin with the late, great Francis Duncan Clark, Assistant Commissioner, retired. Then I had one of he was a mentor. I had Neville Denny, who introduced me to rifle shooting and so many other things. And then last year, late, I think it was November, we had retired Assistant Commissioner Brian Joseph. A few months ago, I had my shooting buddy and good friend Ransford Goodluck. And only recently now, I had my squad mate, John Ames. And a man said to me on Saturday, and he said it before, he repeated it on Saturday, all of these good people are going. And you have a lot of people out there who making people's life miserable. And no one, apart maybe even the close family, is not going to cry when they go. But they're around there making people's life miserable. And I said to him, let me tell you something. Don't question God's work. He has a plan for everyone, including them. And maybe his plan is to make sure they're wrong to suffer. They are wrong to suffer, because I don't believe that people in positions can be doing the things that they do. Old Bible, old holy books, and lie to put other people in jeopardy and get away with it. No, it can't happen so. It would not happen that way. And the man tell me, he says some of them, they're wrong. You don't know why the maker not calling them, right? Nobody will miss them. And I said to him, don't question the work of the Lord. He knows, he has it in his store. They're going to stay wrong. You might see when they start to drag and when they start to punish in this place for the wrong and evil things that they are doing to people. Yeah, so I've lost those friends over the past couple of years. And I want to take this opportunity again to tell you, especially in light of how my squaddy John was there up to Wednesday. I understand that he was speaking to people. He was jovial as usual. And then when the daughter tried to contact him on Thursday, she didn't get him. She went there eventually on Friday. Well, she went Thursday, went back Thursday night, and suspected that something was wrong. Called the New York police. They broke into the home. They found him dead. Man who did everything that he could have done to make sure that he retire and he live a good life. Bought a property in Barbados where he said he's going to spend the winter months because he can't take the cold. He has his property in New York and died. 69 plus. He would have been 70 in December this year. So again, I use this opportunity to implore a lot of people, as I've been doing, put your house in order. Put your house in order, because you don't know when that day will come. Even though they're planning and they're scheming, the Lord will determine when is that day. And therefore, put yourselves in order. I said to you that you need to reach out and get information as to what you can do to protect yourself, protect your family. The offer is still there. And also, we had, if you read the news over the weekend, you will see there was a road accident on the East Coast, Buxton to be exact. Andre Slow was struck and killed by, they say, a hit-and-run accident. He's a cousin, yeah, people have been asking me. He's a cousin of mine. He was going to some wake, they say. Some minibus struck him killed him on the spot, because they say when the medical people arrived, he was pronounced dead on the spot. Dangerous. The roads of Guyana remain dangerous. We're going to talk about the roads and the accidents. So many over the past couple of days. Fatal accidents we're talking about. Whether they call them incidents, whether they call it accidents, people are dying on the road. And we will address this again, and we will continue to highlight it and address it. But yeah, my cousin, some people have expressed condolences. I thank you for that. But the Andre Slow that died is a cousin of mine. And then the next death that I want to announce, just a month ago, we told you of the death of retired Superintendent Clement Hall, who used to be the transport officer. He died on the 16th of September. Last night, I received news from one of his sons that their mother is now dead. She died yesterday. Just a month after her husband passed, the wife passed away. It can be really rough on some people, you have to have faith. Father died, then within a month, the mother died. They were together for 67 years, and people are saying perhaps it's the grief. Clement wanted his wife, and his wife wanted to go with him. So I have those announcements to make about deaths. Now let me talk about the more the happier things. Birthdays today, birthday, or what we want to call it. Sonia, retired woman inspector Sonia Griffith Ward is celebrating a birth anniversary today. Also celebrating a birth anniversary today is retired woman chief inspector Mary Mitchell. I know both of them are followers of this program. I'm sure Mary might be on. So both of them are celebrating today. I want to wish them all the best on this day birth anniversary. Hope that the good Lord spare you to see many, many, many more days, happy, prosperous days ahead. And also, belated birthday greetings to the man who said, big man don't go out of style. He's coming to that big man group. Gordon Mosley celebrated a birthday recently. Gordon said, big man don't go out of style. So Gordon, as you get older, I don't know if you're in the big man group yet, but just remember, as you would tell people frequently, big man don't go out of style. And then we had a recent birthday a birthday of, I'm sure he's on here now, one of our students, Bert Burnett. Bert Burnett celebrated a birthday recently. Former member, I think she's a retired sergeant, she gonna be on too. Carol Roberts celebrated one recently. And we had attorney at law Ronald Daniels, right? He operates out of the office of Youthfield and Stobie. He had a birthday recently. I want to take this opportunity to wish all of those who are celebrating today and who celebrated recently all the best on your birth anniversary. All the best, my brothers and sisters. It's always good to reach another milestone. Now, before I bring in Mr. Conway, cricket in the air. CPL going on. We had yesterday. I was disappointed that the final T20 between England and Australia was washed out without the ball being bowled. I was looking forward to a good game because the second game, England tear off, as we would say, posed a very imposing score, which Australia was never able to chase. So yesterday would have been the grand finale, but that was not to be. And then we had, of course, CPL. Amazon Warrior take the licks. But they take the licks. They get Quinton de Kock, the Barbados lose the cock on them. And the cock made a swashbuckling 100. And I tell people, I say, look what you do. I mean, that he came in and he started a fire. Say, but that is an imposing total. And I don't think they could make it. But as I told you, I'm not a Warrior fan. I'm not an Amazon Warrior fan. I'm a Guyanese, but I'm not an Amazon Warrior fan. And I know why. I have my reasons why I am not an Amazon Warrior fan. First of all, you got to remember, and this is what many people don't remember, it is franchise cricket. It's what we used to call back in the day, pick and play. You pick and play. So in the franchise cricket, in the Guyanese team, you get me from South Africa, you get me from all over the place. So it's not a Guyanese representative team. So don't get carried away and get too emotional. I like the game. I will continue to follow the game. I'll continue to support players. But I am not a Warrior fan. I'm making it plain and straight. I am not an Amazon Warrior fan. I am a supporter of cricket and Guyanese. It is not a Guyanese representative team. When Guyana play and they represent, I will back them 100%. But this is a franchise. This is pick and play. So we understand that. So in case you are going to try to come at me and say that I'm not patriotic, it is franchise cricket. So don't get too carried away, right? Don't get too carried away. And what else I have to tell you before I bring in Mr. Conway? Let me bring Mr. Conway, then I can go back to the roll call. Let me bring in him first, and then I'm going to go back to the roll call. CC, welcome.
Good morning, and praise the Lord that we are all in the land of the living, ready to do God's work. I want to join with you in wishing all those persons who celebrate their birthdays a happy birthday. And I want also to say that we have a very busy 2 hours to go, so let's get on with it.
Or as Michael Buffalo will say, let's get it on. Let's get it on. Now for the roll call, to the roll call. Now I scheduled the program this morning just before 7, and immediately, coincidentally, we have Wayne Kesnew and Wayne Liddell. Wayne from the UK. The two Waynes came in at exactly 6:56. Then it was followed by Carlton, my squadron, at 4:30. Kenneth from Maryland. Peter, Jason. The man from the Hills, Barlett, came in at 6:58. Rhonda, this is Rhonda Chance, came in after. Then it was Anthony Jarvis, Matthew, Evelyn, Rawl, 11752 came in. Lynette from the UK came in after. Brian, and Brian is from Brooklyn. Ulrich from West Dem, Crane, West Dem. Albert, Trotty came in exactly 7 o'clock. Then we had Vibort, and this is Vibort Lawson. Well, Lynette came back to say here that going on in the UK, she's waiting to the class, and have a blessed day. Tessa from Orlando, Florida is here. Lennox, Mary from Brooklyn, Anka, Barbara, and then we have Richard, and Richard is saying good morning to everyone. Carl Johnson, Winston, and Winston is from California. Magnell, Ezzy, Sean from Schenectady, New York. Patricia from New Jersey. Then it is Courtney from New Jersey, Charles from New Jersey, the people from New Jersey well represented. Anthony from Petersall, Pauline and is here. Then after Pauline, it was Colin from New Jersey again, Malcolm, Gary, Aubrey from Canada. Then it is Marcia, Clifton, 9339 is here. Patricia, Inferno, Boss is with us. Then it was Debbie from Providence. Original Black Man is here. John, and then we have Rawl, my Redmar friend, Everett from Texas, Matthew Bonita from West Dem, retired sergeant, 16308, she's here. William is in the house, and from William is from Barbados. Bim is here. Francis Kidd from Melanie Namashana. Rhonda, this is the next Rhonda Lane from Denham, still in the house. African Queen is here. Jacko from Georgia. Well, Jacko is from Georgia, he's from Corviton as well, but now he is from Georgia. And then we have Lucius from Maryland. Pamela, West Dem girl is here. Neville, Roxanne, Mr. G, and Mr. C, looking forward to another great day. We're not going to disappoint you. Moses, another Barrow is here. Clement, Michael, and then after Michael, you want to know about Brutus, we can tell you. Colin from Queens, Charlene is here. Patricia, Jakey from Maryland. Donis, Kevin, Sandra, Vibort, and this is Vibort Smith. Then he's followed by Keith Murray is here. Floyd from Brooklyn. Aileen, Sean Maxwell around. Winston from the UK. Glendon, and this is Glendon Wilson 054T. UNTAG Namibia. And when you see UNTAG, it means it stands for United Nations Transition Assistance Group. Ako is here. Queenie from Brooklyn. Maureen, Marcus, Abera, Richard, R. Crawford, he says his number is 11256. Orin from the UK, Connolly, George, Terence, 9795 from Canada, Annette, Gibbo from Brooklyn. Then we have Tiffany, Jamal, Edinburgh. I can't recall seeing Jamal here before. If it's your first time commenting, welcome, my brother. Bert, as I said, happy birthday to you, Bert. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. Carmel is here. Claude, I miss you. 9342, I miss you. Welcome back. Cecile, Secretary Denise. Then we have Dennis Sagan from Barbados. I remember Dennis, traffic man. Wenda Cranston. And then we say Morton, Karen, Angel. The Angel, was nice seeing you on Friday. The Angel is here. Then we have Pito from Queens, David, Norbert, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, Rohan, Jahawar, Clifton from Paris, Ainsworth, K, 12505 Mason, Ivan, Danny, excuse me, Danny, Cheryl, Emerson, nice meeting you too, Emerson, Vibord, this is Vibord John. Then we have Colin and Grace, Felicia, Royston, then it is Michael, this is Michael Samuels, Boo, Alexander Samuel, Mingo, Desiree, and Desiree is from Georgia. Desiree, thanks for the donation. Stephen, me, is a princess, is also here from Lamar Springs. Our number was 6123. Then we have Orette, Bentik, Sean, Gary, Joan from New Amsterdam, Evanlina, Derek, and Derek is here, Farina, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Then it is Vernon, Clarence, Trevor, Ulrich, another squad mate of mine, 9555 Stevens. Then it is Clive from the UK, Anne, Barbara, Baptiste, Sharon from the UK. Well, let me tell you, I can't call this one. Look at it here. I don't know how to pronounce that. He's obviously a newcomer with a fancy, he or she with a fancy name. I really am going to try, because if I should try, I don't believe that I'll be able to carry on with the program. I might break my tongue. So you see the name there. Then it's Vibert. Then it is Derek. And this is Derek Willis. I can't recall seeing him before either. Dylan. Wayne, welcome. Wayne, welcome. Wayne Innes, he says, I remember Wayne very well. Very well. 10118. He was the fridge man at the transport workshop, retired assistant superintendent of police. He helped me out with when my fridge gave me a problem. A lot of time he came to my rescue. Then we have Orville, Monica, and this is Monica Adams, followed immediately by Monica Holligan. And then Skello is here. Philip, and I can't recall, Lakesh or Lakesh Bechu. He said that the number was 19285. Welcome, my brother. You say every number. Well, there's always a tease in the work, you know. Once you come in there, I say, buy your number, every you fall overboard, you're going to drunk. They told me that too, and they were giving number 9549. People like Conway and them who were before can tell you, hey, your number big. If you fall overboard, you're going to drunk. Yeah, so there's a usual tease. Omar is here. Aral, Chilo, Gordon, Jason, Marlon, Valiata, Clay, Lucille, Dorette, Vivian, George from BV, Gordon from Canada, John, my good friend, and as he said, good luck, you should say, ready to rock and roll. That's exactly what Ron Surgeons used to tell us. Jono Cornbread is here. Thank you. Don, good to see you, Don. Good to see you, Don. Kush is here. Isabella, Deslin, Cedric, Brenda. Then it was Oren, Yorick, and was the last person in the schoolyard. And when the school door was open, we had Karen, followed by Edward. Edward is always one or two when the school doors open. Theodore, we have Shelley, Gordon, Danny Slow from my cousin from Trinidad. Joan is back here. Arul, an ex-countryman of mine. Man from Shadow Valley. Arul is here. Rose is here as well. And the number goes on and on and on. We can't really call all the people, but we give an opening as part of the opportunity for more to come in and the little icebreaker and so on. So here we are for today's program. Now let me go into the, Mr. Conway said, let me get into the meat of the thing. Let me get into the meat. Now, last week, Wednesday, I told you about this article written by one Michael Young. You know? I just paid them for write all sorts of crap. And Michael Young wrote an article in the Chronicle, or the Cannon Crow, as they will call it. And he said a lot of things. I addressed some of these things. Let me make sure I get it here. I want to quote them, because it is said back to say they run into the code. Among the things he said, that I'm a disgrace former police officer who is disgruntled. That is what he said. He said, I am disgraced and disgruntled. Well, let me say this to Michael Young and to all others, right? I am certain that I am more respected. Me, Parslow, I am more respected than almost all, if not all, of the current senior officers in the Guyana Police Force. Let me repeat that for the benefit of the likes of Michael Young, those Germans, Michael Young and others. I am more respected, not only in Guyana, around the Caribbean and elsewhere, than most of the current senior police officers in the Guyana Police Force. I am respected than most of the politicians they have in Guyana. And remember, respect is something you have to earn. I have earned my stripes over the years. So Michael Young writing here to say that Parslow is a disgraced former police officer who is bitter. Michael Young, you will never taste me to know if I'm bitter. You got to taste somebody else, taste them other boys and so on. Not me. Not me. You can go and taste them all. You're going to know if they're bitter. You're going to know if they stink. You're going to know if they're sour. But who dare you? How dare you to say that Parslow is a disgraced former police officer who is who is bitter? You ever taste me to know if I'm bitter? You tell what I'm bitter? I am bitter. I am bitter. So let me tell you this, Michael Young. I am more respected. Let me tell you again. And if you want, do a proper survey. Do a proper, not them survey like what a chap out of Queens does though. Do a proper survey in terms of people who are respected. Match me up with all them who are in there. Whether it's a squatter, whether it's any one of them. Match me up with them. Match me up with the politicians. I ain't talking about popularity. They might be more popular. But in terms of respect, and don't forget Michael Young and others, because of my sterling performance, I got 2 national awards. And before you jump on it, the first national award I got, the Discipline Service Medal, was given to me in 1998 by Janet Jagan, the PPP president. And the second national award was given to me under the coalition David Granger, Cassie Crown of Honor. Right? So I don't know how a disgraced police officer who's bitter can get all that. I got enough of them in there. They ain't got nothing. They have nothing. They are not recognized. In addition to those 2 that I mentioned, I have been given numerous awards. My village, people in the diaspora, they have awarded me for my sterling contribution to the society. So Michael Young, we'll and come again. We will come again, right? So you get a national award soon for what? You got a national award for Bendang. You got a national award for being a German old-time car, a Volkswagen with your engine in the back. That is what they're going to get the national award for. Well, if they're going to get a national award, me and they're in that. I am not in that. Yes, they're going to get for that. But then he goes on to say certain things here that I need to clarify. I didn't get a chance to do it last week, but let me do it now. Because, remember, this is a follow-up to the Ride Along program that I did 2 Wednesdays ago. Bork was there as well. Ride Along is this program hosted by the Grenadian, Junior George, and Kwame Carlin, satisfied. Among they say all kind of crap. And they get licks. So what I did now, they brought out this not one, And I asked the question, I don't know why that type is coming after me. I don't know why they're coming after me. But here one of the things he said, because in the Ride Along program, Bork said, he spoke about this, the extrajudicial killings during a particular period when Barra Jagdeo was president. Right? Bork spoke about it and said that they call different numbers. Bork said 1,400, some people say less. The point is, many people were killed during a particular period. That is indisputable. You can dispute the numbers, how many persons died under those circumstances, but you can't deny it after the evidence is there. You know what this other thing said? He said President Barra Jagdeo never definitively committed this government or any PPP government to an investigation of the murders and crimes that took a toll on society during the early 2000s to 2011 period. He offered his opinion on what the parameters of such probe would likely be. if there were to be such an investigation. Bork is clearly twisting the truth and the facts. Say it with authority. No one takes him seriously. They say no one takes Bork seriously. That is what he's saying. Well, let me analyze that quickly before bringing Mr. Conway. First of all, let me go to the first part where he's saying that Jagdeo never committed to having an inquiry. This is an article dated Thursday, the 28th of March, 2024. That is this year, by Dennis Shabal from Demerara Waves. And here what it says, the caption is, Commission of Inquiry into 2000-2006 violence will be held. Jagdeo. That is the headline. Let me read what he is reported to have said. Vice President Bar Jagdeo on Thursday announced that a Commission of Inquiry, a COI, into extrajudicial killings between 2002 and 2006 that had been promised by the coalition administration would be held. Quote, the government will be going ahead with this Commission of Inquiry because the UN wants it, Granger wanted it, and I hope that there will be no prevarication anymore. There shall be a COI into what took place in that period. End of quote. That is quoting Jagdeo. He goes on to say, well, the article goes on to say, no time frame was given within which the inquiry would be held. His announcement came the same day that the United Nations Human Rights Committee, UNHCR, said in its concluding observations of Guyana's third periodic report that it was concerned that, quote, no substantive progress has been made to establish the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate allegations of extrajudicial killings during that period, despite government's plan to do so in 2018, end of quote. Then President David Granger had promised to order a COI into the violent crime wave that had included the Lusignan, Bartica, and Lindo Creek massacres, gunning down of the agricultural minister Saturday Osa, and other killings and kidnappings. A COI was held into the Lindo Creek massacre. Political activist and television talk show Ronald Waddell was shot dead outside his Sobrianville home. Mr. Jagdeo on Thursday again pointed fingers at the People's National Congress reform for having been responsible for what he termed an insurgency against the People's Progressive Party civic administration when he was president. In turn, the government had been accused of killing hundreds or thousands of mainly Afro-Guyanese men during that period. Several members of the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force were also shot dead by gunmen who had been armed with assault rifles, including about 20 AK-47s, which had been stolen from the Guyana Defense Force armory at Campa in Ghana. So again, for Michael Young to come out and tell us that Jagdeo never definitively promised that the PPP government would hold a commission of inquiry. In March this year, following the United Nations Human Rights Committee damning report on them, they talk about corruption. The report spoke about the extrajudicial killings and no investigation. Jagdeo said, that is what Demerara Waves said on Thursday, the 28th of March this year, that Jagdeo promised. Let me read it back. The government, the quoting Jagdeo is saying, quote, the government will be going ahead with this commission of inquiry because the UN wants it. Granger wanted it. And I hope that there will be no prevarication anymore. There shall be a commission of inquiry into what took place in this period. That is what Jagdeo said. And then again, Michael Young coming to write a lot of crap, write a scandal about for tell people otherwise. That is what they do, propaganda. But as I told you, I am going to do the research. My colleague will do the research, and we're going to bring you the facts. Facts are stubborn thing. Facts are stubborn thing. So let him come now and say that Dennis Shabral from the Demerara Waves misquoted, or that article that I just read is misleading. Jagdeo never said. So let him come and tell us that now. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, you heard that thing there. You heard they coming to tell us now that Jagdeo never promised a commission of inquiry. As recent as March, following the United Nations Human Rights Commission report, Jagdeo said the United Nations wanted, and he promising that the government will have the commission. And to hear Kwame McCoy and to hear Michael Young, Kwame McCoy said it on Right Along, then he come now to tell us this. Your views, my brother.
Well, I don't only read the Waves, I heard Jagdeo's voice. in one of his views out sessions on Thursday. It was clear that he mentioned that. And, so, but Michael Wong and Michael Young and Kwame and them, and let me get back to Kwame because he mentioned my name. I think he might slip, Perhaps he had me on his mind like how he had Julius. He might slip. I think he was to call somebody else and he called me. He called me name. And he might slip, just like how things will slip, sometimes when things to be in front, it gone at the back, And then they say when they slip in the back, it's as if they ain't like staying, as the case may be. So I'm not I'm not too bothered with them, But as I mentioned my name, I got a talk. And praise the Lord that I am not weak down the leg side,
When you talk about sleep, remember one of the famous songs from Mighty Sparrow. Yeah, I tell you all, you must listen to these things. These young people don't understand these songs. It named a matter of fact, I have it on my phone, which is my alarm song. Since he there, let stay there. I didn't mean to be so slick, but as you move so quick, it slip, and I'm feeling so nice and warm. Any port is for a storm. Yeah, I was falling up my Mighty Sparrow. That is what Mr. Conway is referring to. Mighty Sparrow, the greatest Calypsonian ever produced. The greatest Calypsonian. Now let me go to this next story, everybody. Let me go to this next one. I read an article. Let me find my notes, man. Y'all allow me a little bit. Let me put my notes in here. First of all, I think I've mentioned this before. HGP Nightly News had an article which says, just in time. That's the caption of the article, just in time. And here what it says. It's very short, so I'm going to read it to you. Breaking news, HGP Nightly News. As investigation continuing to allege financial improprieties within the Guyana Police Force, the Special Organized Crime Unit has obtained a court order to freeze the bank account of a police sergeant. But when they got to the bank, the police sergeant had already cleared his account. Over Guyana $50 million was stored in the account. The transactions were all suspicious ones as source related. Investigators believe that the police sergeant had been hiding monies that belonged to an high-ranking officer who had been fingered in a high level of corruption and financial impropriety within the Guyana Police Force. Nightly News on July 26 reported that the investigators found that the police sergeant is directly involved in the embezzlement after documents prove that he had misappropriated and personally claimed the millions in funds that rightly belonged to the Guyana Police Force. Sources familiar with the investigation have described the police sergeant as the main conduit for the senior cop. He would drop off at the court. He would drop off fake invoices to sign and pick up all the beverages from the police mess and so on to deliver to his boss' business place. He knows everything what was going on. Plus, he is always listed for promotion, a well-placed source said. So that is HGP Nightly News. Now, I read a couple of days ago, I can read this one too. A couple of days ago, SOCU is reminded that its mandate include how to handle sensitive information. Stabrook News, September 13, 2024. And let me read this one. Dear editor, please permit me space in your publication to write on a matter that has national, regional, international implications for the Guyana Police Force, Guyana, and bilateral cooperation on transnational and other crimes. The Special Organized Crime Unit, or SOCU, is an agency like the Guyana Police Force's special branch, the intelligence arm of the force. SOCU's operation and investigation should remain highly confidential, but because of the sensitive, highly confidential because of the sensitive, sorry, let me read it back. Highly confidential because of the sensitivity of the information it handles and has access to. SOCU is a semi-autonomous agency that falls under the Guyana Police Force. Its current head is Assistant Commissioner of Police Fazil Karim Bash. SOCU was once headed by Assistant Commissioner of Police Sidney James. During his tenure, the police received intermediate updates or the press release intermediate updates on serious and sensitive investigation, but in no way not to prejudice ongoing investigations of impending court matters. I'm reading what is written there. So if it sounds funny, I'm just reading what is there. When SOCU heads an investigation, a multiplicity of agencies are involved. Central Bank, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the courts, government ministries, commercial banks, DPC chambers, and the Criminal Investigation Department, to name a few. SOCU is actively investigating claims of financial irregularities against Deputy Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus. A number of agencies and institutions mentioned above are actively participating in the overall probe. From then to now, leaks during the investigations thus far have been in the public domain. Every move made by SOCU ends up in the public domain. Because of SOCU's mandate, the head of the agency can approach the court for orders including but not limited to the freezing of assets and details on banking and other information. A judge will more than likely grant SOCU the order it seeks on several principles, one of them being that the information that will be gathered and obtained by SOCU will be used for the sole purpose of the investigation. Information end up in the public domain of an order granted to SOCU to access the bank account of a junior police rank. The information in the public domain spoke of an alleged amount of funds previously held in that account. The court granted the order and nothing was known about that. The bank handed over the information and nothing was known about that. SOCU got access to the information and the entire public is aware of that. SOCU seeks to build case against Calvin Brutus, but that case is already being tried in the court of public opinion. The implication for what is taking place has far-reaching consequences. SOCU can find itself slapped with multiple lawsuits for breach of privacy. Sincerely, Leroy Smith, journalist. Sincerely, Leroy Smith, journalist. So, according to Stabrook News on the 13th, this is a letter published and it is said to have been written by Leroy Smith. Well, I have a lot of issues to raise from that. First of all, and I wanted the journalists, and even Stabrook News, because they're talking about Deputy Commissioner Brutus. There's no Deputy Commissioner Brutus, either substantive or acting. Brutus is an assistant commissioner. The same Brutus who is being investigated, his rank is assistant commissioner. He was never acting deputy commissioner. He sat for a while in the office of the deputy commissioner administration. So we understand that. So they tell about deputy commissioner Brutus and all that. But I can't believe really that this is the same person who goes as Big Smith Newswatch. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I can recall that some time ago, this newscast, Big Smith Newswatch, used to jump ahead with a lot of leaked information. He seemed to have, when any crime commit, anybody arrested, he used to get the scoop on it and he used to run with it. I recall when you had the Orange Boston killing on the Essequibo, sometime I think it was last year or 2022, can't remember the exact time now. The first news break of that killing was Big Smith Newswatch reporting that police went to this Orange Boston's house and he attempted to take away the firearm from the police and he was shot and killed. The evidence came out that was a total fabrication. The man was lying naked in his bed beside his wife and he was shot and killed in his bed. But Big Smith Newswatch had said that the man tried to take away the firearm from the police. It is there in the records. It is there. Last year, on the 1st of January 2023, there was a killing at Myconi where a policeman, McPherson, and a man, Budberg, was shot and killed. Big Smith Newswatch reported that the police who fired one shot, and the shot passed through this man and killed the police. It turned out that it was another total fabrication. The police who fired said that he saw the detective corporal McPherson scuffling with this other man, and he fired a few rounds in their direction. A few rounds. And that Newswatch had said one round fire got through the hand of one man and killed the police. The fabrication had no credibility whatsoever. None. And let me tell you further, they're going to come out and try to attack me. Why come with facts? Where was the outrage? And let me say this. I should have said this before. I am batting for Soku. I am not batting for Soku. I am not batting for the other Soku or nobody. But I'd like to bring facts. So you're trying to attack Soku. Soku lacks confidentiality and the leaking information and all that. That is well and good. That's he and Soku got to deal with that. But I am saying that what happened, if you recall the Sir Mars murder, Sir Mars, the popular teacher and actor Sir Mars, was killed. And the CID held a suspect. And the suspect gave a confession statement, so they claim, a video recorded statement the suspect gave. That video recorded confession statement by the suspect in Sir Mars' murder found its way on Newsroom. Newsroom has an article. Google it, you're going to see where the man, understand what we're saying here? This is a suspect in the murder of Sir Mars. He allegedly gave a confession statement, a video recorded confession statement to the police, CID, who were doing the investigation. And that video recorded statement ended up on Newsroom. In case you don't know who's Newsroom, Newsroom is one of the, I would say, a propaganda arm of the PPP. It ended up there on a news item with the actual video recorded confession statement, part of it being played in the news item. Where was the outrage from Leroy Smith, Big Smith, and all of these people? And on the same matter, Newsroom carried the story and the same thing to say that they saw a statement from the suspect's wife. Imagine this, the suspect is said to have given a statement to the police. And Newsroom reported that they saw this statement that was given to the police during the course of the investigation into Sir Mars' murder, and the statement from the suspect's wife contradicted things that the suspects was saying. There was no outrage. We spoke about this before. There was no outrage. Now, all of a sudden, Soku is alleged to have leaked this information with his bank account, where they said just in time, the bank account got $50 million, and they got an order. That's how the story goes. Soku got an order to freeze the account, and when they went to the bank, just to discover that the money was withdrawn. Now, they got another question to be asked there. Even if the money was withdrawn, there will be a paper trail. There's going to be a paper trail. So the investigators ought to know, when you do your investigation, this $50 million, when it was, whether it's one deposit, several deposits, the dates of the deposit, the amount of money that was deposited on each occasion, who made it, well, not who made the deposit, and then you're going to know too, when the 50 was withdrawn, was it one withdrawal one time or over a period of time? And I'm saying again, this is more evidence, as we have been saying, that Soku is incapable of conducting this investigation, not because of the leak, but because if you're going to investigate this thing properly, even the banks might be complicit in some way. So these deposits are made allegedly by a sergeant of police, and it is raising suspicion that this man can be depositing all this money accumulated to $50 million in a relatively short space of time. That is the deposit side. What happened when this money was withdrawn? Was it withdrawn in one lump sum? Was it withdrawn in several installments? Again, I say that this investigation should be so far-reaching and widespread that Soku is incapable of conducting it. Because you're going to find that even the banks, because it's alleged that the two accounts belonging to Brutus and his wife that were frozen, that is what had hundreds of millions. That is the allegation. So again, this thing did not raise suspicion in these banks that a senior police officer, even if they get business, that these monies are being deposited and so on, it can raise the eyebrow of no one. And that is why I say, if you want to do a proper investigation, all of that. I see now they're talking about procurement. And you know, talking about procurement, I got a laugh last week when I saw that the police held some seminar or some course on procurement, and they involved sergeants and them people. You ain't got nothing to do with procurement. What do they have to do with procurement? But they're running helter-skelter, trying to cover up. And I tell them again, this is like Soxan. The more you wriggle, the more you are going to sink. And if a proper investigation is done, I don't think they're going to do a proper investigation. It's not only the police officers and the police people who are going to be implicated. Well, a lot of people, in terms of the police, we saw the statement from the acting commissioner, the extended squatter, where he said no deposit was made, no investigation is going on. That is covering up. That is clearly an attempt to cover up. Clearly an attempt to cover up. So he should be investigated. I asked a question, what happened to the police finance officer and the people at finance who would have had to prepare vouchers, who would have to maybe approve vouchers and all of that? What happened to the people at the Ministry of Home Affairs? What happened to the people at the Ministry of Finance? All of these people are likely to be implicated in this thing if a proper investigation is done. All of them. All of them. So again, I say, Big Smith or Leroy Smith, as the letter says, where was the outrage when that video recorded confession statement from the suspect in the Sir Mars murder was played on Newsroom, Newswatch, on Newsroom, one of the news items? Where was the outrage when they claimed that they saw the statement from the suspect's wife? This is a statement that was being given to the police. They boldly claim that they saw the statement and the statement contradicts statement being made by the suspect. There was no outrage then. And I believe, my view, is that all of this noise now is because perhaps other people get in the scoop. The information is now leaked to others. The information is leaked to others, and you don't enjoy perhaps the preferential treatment that you used to enjoy. By the way, before I hand over, Mr. Conway, have you taken off the siren and the flashing light from your car? Mr. Conway, time for you to have your say on that. Go ahead.
Okay, I hold no brief for Suku, and I always say Suku doesn't have the technical and the professional knowledge to do investigation of this magnitude. And getting back to Big Smith, did perhaps the tables have torn now. Big Smith always to get a scoop, the force to get it, and the leak because it was established because of his relationship with the extended squatter. Getting it steady, but things have now changed, and other people getting the information. So he balling, but the investigation, is so widespread that Suku can't really handle it at all. Can't handle it. It's widespread. And then when you look at the quartermaster store, Paul, what is going on? The allegations are millions and millions of dollars of what they call uniform and other thing, allegedly say, going to the quartermaster store. They did as per record, they say, hey, write up this thing for show that these things come in. And then write up these records for show that it goes. When nothing ain't going. Let her check the bin cards, let check the good receipt books, let her check the voucher books. And some persons were forced to write up records to make bogus entries. And let me tell this person that if you get an instruction from your senior and it is unlawful, you're not bound to come to do it, to carry the instructions. So all of them would and having worries. A lot of things they say come into quartermaster store and they go out when nothing ain't go there. And people get paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. I know if Suku is investigating a part of it. But the thing is widespread, Paul. So, they need to pull off Suku and get some other international organization or some overseas persons to do this investigation. Because, and then again, Suku drawing blank. And perhaps they allow the guy for withdraw the money. They give you time for withdraw. But as you mentioned, they would have paper trail to see when was deposit and when was withdraw. Long ago, long in the year, since in inception, we heard that this man gets so much a million in the bank, and we going now for the bank for check and see when everything done withdraw. Total nonsense. But there is a paper trail. There is a paper trail.
Correct. And the paper trail will provide sufficient evidence. So even though the account might have been cleaned out before they go there, so you can't freeze the money, right? You can because it's already out. But there are lots of stuff that you can still do. You go, as I said, get the paper trail, and then the account holder has to be asked to explain where you get all of this money from, who give you this money. That's simple and straightforward. Some of them recognize that even if the account was cleaned out, a paper trail is going to be there showing all the deposits, all the withdrawals, and they are suggesting, based on this article from HGP News, it has been suggested that this money would have been cleared out once the court order was given. So it could not have been, I don't think, any many withdrawals. The suggestion here is that once the court order was given to freeze the account, the money was cleaned out, and that's why they said just in time. And therefore, that too ought to have aroused suspicion and alert somebody. Something is going wrong. Something is on. Sergeant, the police have $50 something million in the account. That is what is being alleged. And then all of a sudden, now, boop, the money withdraw. The paper trail is going to tell the story. The sergeant will have to say where he got the money from. This is a big, big, big thing. And again, I say so cool because today is what? Today is 60-something days since Brutus proceeded on leave. And there's no update that I am aware of. As I said, well, he leave finished and he's now on the administrative leave. I remember he went off on vacation leave. That is what I said. That is what I said, that he went on annualized vacation leave. Is he still on annualized vacation leave? If not, has he been sent on administrative leave by the Police Service Commission? We don't know. The public wants to know. I want to know. And these are the same people they talk about transparency. They don't know the meaning of the word transparency. They don't know the meaning of the word transparency. They are as opaque as it can come. They don't know transparency. So you have an investigation into a senior police officer going on. And what happened? You're dumb, you're deaf, you're blind, you're not saying nothing, you're not seeing nothing, you're not hearing nothing. Nothing from them, right? Perhaps, and all you have now from the police force, the I command, the acting commissioner in particular, is when they catch you at the sideline at some conference. Just now the man ain't got to no conference, just now. Because the man dashed a tactical pun y'all some time ago when he had something the officers missed, and y'all waiting for when the thing finished. When you waited when the engagement finished to tackle the man beat out before that. The man beat out. So y'all can't get for ask anything. That gonna happen again. The man gonna dash the cock in y'all again. You can go to this function and y'all harassing the steady. At the end of the function, on the sidelines of some function, the man gonna give y'all a shake beat, as we used to say, and disappear from the place before it is finished. Right? But no transparency, none whatsoever. And Mr. Conway made a very important point a while ago. I want to advise all the police. I know enough of y'all listen, right? Enough listen. You cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701, Section 4C says, disobeyed a lawful order given to you by a superior rank, either in writing, either orally, in writing, or by authorized signals on parade. 4C, I think it is. Lawful order. And when a man going to tell you to forge thing and to do, cannot be lawful, and you're within your right not to do it. And let me say this to you. Because I know you find yourself in a position, senior man, very senior man, giving you some unlawful order to do something, and you're studying if you don't do it, you're going to be victimized, you might lose your stripe, you're going to get transferred, you're going to lose your work, thinking of all them things. It's better for all of those things to happen to you than for you to end up in jail. Let me repeat that. It is better for you to stand up and make sure you do the correct thing, right? Than do the wrong thing and end up in jail. Because what is likely to happen with these matters, let me put it this way, when the shit hit the fan, or as my instructor, the FBI, used to say, when the defecation is the oscillation, they're going to duck out and left you inside, the junior ranks. Let me repeat that for you all to understand. They give you illegal instructions, and you carry out the illegal instructions. When they shit hit the fan, they're going to left you in it. They're going to say it's you did it. Like how Mr. Conway repeats this very often. I'm going to ask him to repeat it again. When they had the Commission of Inquiry, the Joint Services or Discipline Forces Commission of Inquiry, and the question was asked of Floyd McDonald, was the commissioner, about the firearms issuing to a lot of people, including Axel Williams, who was said to be involved in murder and so on. They said Gadraj instructed McDonald to issue firearm. And when Gadraj was questioned by the Commission of Inquiry, he said that Commissioner McDonald should have been guided by his conscience and the Constitution. So he dashed McDonald under the bus. It's the same thing is going to happen to you people if you continue to carry out unlawful order. When the shit hit the fan, they're going to throw you under the bus and you're going to left there to be crushed. So this is advice I'm giving to you. I'm talking from experience. Yeah, you're going to be victimized as I was. Because when Gadraj ordered me or attempted to order me because I told him he can't order me, right? To give back the firearm to Laminate Man from, and I declined. I can't even lie. I said, no, you refused, you declined. And I declined to carry out the unlawful order. Jack Dio called me to your office and ordered me to apologize to Gadraj. I said, well, what am I apologizing for? Oh, you didn't do nothing wrong. I said, well, if I did nothing wrong, why should I apologize? And I did not apologize, and I was victimized. I remained an assistant commissioner for 11 years. It's better to remain in whatever rank you are for all the years till you retire than to do the wrong thing and end up in jail. Let me understand this clearly, Ranks. I know it's a tough decision because you have your family to take care of. You have maybe you're planning on a long career in the force. It is not easy. I know this. It is not easy, but it's a decision you have to make. Are you going to do something that is illegal and likely to face prison sentence, or let it dismiss you and you go on with your life, your reputation intact, and you go to some other career and so on? The choice is yours. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to wrap up this part. See anything else on this?
Yeah, and I always remember the inquiry, and I always remember Gadraj when it tell about all the legal instructions he gave to McDonald, and the man used one sentence. The man said, Commissioner Floyd McDonald should have been guided by the Constitution and his conscience. Full stop. Not another word. McDonald says, see the man threw me under the bus. All them things I do for the man, throw you under the bus. And we're making the point, as long the order is unlawful, you're not bound to carry it out. Because you carry it out, you might end up in jail. It's better transfer you, or better you left the work, as the case may be, before you have to face the court. And coming out, if they do proper inquiry in this quartermaster store, a lot of people in shambles because they carried out illegal instructions, because of fear of victimization, because of fear that they get transferred and all kind of thing there. A lot of illegal instructions were passed on in terms of writing up the book, said this thing come in, said this thing go out, when nothing in come in, nothing in go out, prepare this voucher so that man could get payment of millions and millions of dollars, that the orders were unlawful, and understand people carry them out. So watch out what's going to happen.
Yeah, and you said millions and millions. Well, let me say it's tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars stuff we're talking about. But let me tell you all this in this same thing. This is not this principle that you cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. They is enshrined throughout the world, not only Guyana. And that came about after the Second World War at the Nuremberg Tribunal. Nuremberg is a place in Germany where the Nazi war criminals were tried for killing all of those Jews. So 6 million Jews were exterminated. And those Nazi officers, to a man, they said that the reason why they did what they did is because Hitler, the Führer, ordered them to do so. They were just good soldiers carrying out the order of the commander. That is what they said. And the Nuremberg Tribunal held, it is there, you must go and read it, that you cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. And as reasonable human beings, you ought to know that the order to exterminate, kill how many Jews is an unlawful order, and therefore you cannot be forced to carry it out. And if, in fact, you carry it out as they did, then you are culpable, you are responsible. So that is what I bring these things to you guys so you can go and you do your research and you read. You do your research and you read. And there was another similar tribunal in following the Vietnam War, My Lai Tribunal, same thing. One of the officers who kill out a lot of the people there say, well, you get instructions, and the same thing held, that you cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. An unlawful order is given to you, stand your ground. Stand your ground. And as Mr. Conway said, it's better to be victimized, better to be transferred, perhaps even dismissed, than to carry out unlawful order. And then you have to face the possibility of going to jail. And even if you don't go to jail, you're likely to be charged criminally. And then there's a whole set of money, a lot of finances you got to find for legal representation and all that. Folks, you all think carefully. Think carefully. Think carefully. We know, and let me tell you this too, because in my case with Gajraj, he told me that you should comply and then complain. That is, I think, is a military doctrine. Once somebody senior give you an order, they say you comply, you carry the order, and then you complain. No. If the order is unlawful, you can't comply and then complain. And I told him that. Tell him, I might have taught you that in the army. But no. I'm a senior police officer. You can't tell me to do something unlawful and then I must go and complain. I am not doing the unlawful act. I am not doing the unlawful act. So you understand that? Not because the body senior say, well, comply. In other words, carry out the unlawful act, and then you're going to go and complain later. You have already carried out the act, so you're already culpable. So understand it clearly. Again, I say it is not an easy choice, but read, get the necessary knowledge, and don't get caught in the shifting focus. What do I mean by that? Shifting focus. So they give you an unlawful order, and you decide you're not going to carry out the unlawful order, but you do that in a manner that they're going to say, no, you're disrespectful. In your language, they'll say you're disrespectful. So the focus is shifted from the unlawful order to your conduct. You got to guard against that. You got to guard. You got to be very respectful. I'm sorry, sir, but you got to be very, very respectful. You're going to cuss them out and all that. Or some people is dumb insolence. You practice dumb insolence. They tell you ain't saying nothing, but you just go, you ain't doing it. They tell you to carry this unlawful order. You're not going to say, no, I ain't doing it. You just leave. Make your records right, and you're not carrying out any unlawful order. And again, I say, make your records right. I know it's a problem in the force. We don't like to write. They talk a lot of things. Enough twin, talk. This man is no good. They not write nothing. And when push come to shove, you stand or you fall by the records. I know they say what he say and she say. Records must be there to support the whole scenario. So let me understand it. But let me move on. I read September the 11th. There's a memorable day in the history of U.S. and the world, 9/11. Kaicho News had an editorial, and the editorial says, police need urgent help. Police need urgent help. September the 11th, 2024, Kaicho News. Let me read it. A little long, but we're going to read it. The Guyana Police Force is sure to put up a fight. The PPPC government is going to play for time in the hope that the bad news goes away. The call is for scrutiny of the Guyana Police Force, considering the serious developments that have rocked it in a short span of time. We fully endorse that call, but take it further. When the chronic suspicion and lack of trust that pervades Guyana are weighted, it is timely for foreign assistance to be pursued. The Guyana Police Force is in dire need of help. A good start is the activating of the proper parliamentary committees with a better supporting effort, including foreign expertise. There have been reports of alleged financial wrongdoing committed inside the Guyana Police Force. A senior officer of the Guyana Police Force was held at the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York. More recently, there was a noticeable absence of the Guyana Police Force involvement in the huge Matthews Ridge drug bust. The latter is astonishing. Tells so much of what could be wrong inside the Guyana Police Force, where it is, how it is viewed. When there are developments of this nature and the Ghana police force look less than it should, the confidence of the public takes a blow. Matters are not helped when the Ghana police force I command is either tight-lipped or issue terse statements that reveal nothing. When all this is observed, the security of citizens and prevention of crime all struggle with a void that is not easily closed. To this end, the call is for the government to help the Ghana police force so that it can help itself to be more professional, to be a more professional organization. One that begins that long and difficult process towards earning the trust and respect of Guyanese. For starters, parliamentary scrutiny could only help, if only to get an idea of what is going on inside the Ghana police force and how much it can deliver on its mandate to serve and protect. Serve and protect citizens and not its own possible nefarious interests or those of domineering and tainted politicians. Unless there is genuineness in getting the clearest understanding of where the Ghana police force stand, what its weaknesses are, then the kind of help that is needed is not going to happen. Unless the PPC government is open to listening and is ready to do what is best for the Ghana police force, then its shortcomings will remain at the same deplorable levels, with the safety and security of the public degraded. The confidence of Guyanese is already at a low level. Citizens have been taken advantage of by ranks on the streets as they go about their lawful business and need relief. Notwithstanding the dark clouds swirling over the Ghana police force, the PPC government has seemingly gone into its customary response of putting up a wall, while feigning that all is well. And what is going on with the Ghana police force is a momentary blip. We do not agree with any such posture, for there have been too many major issues that all redound to the great discredit of the Ghana police force. This is only from what have made their way into the public or into the media. What damages the reputation of the Ghana police force? The concern about what else could be going on and how bad such are. The concern is what else can be going on and how bad such are. Former Minister of Public Security in the coalition government, Kemra Jamdatan, has called for the operationalization of the Public Security Committee of Parliament, an unfettered one, and one that functions with an eye on enhancing the Ghana police force and delivering the security blanket that citizens crave could only help. In addition, leader of the AFC, Nigel Hughes, has added his voice with a call for the implementation of the Protective Disclosure Act of 2018, which gives some comfort to potential whistleblowers should they come forward to share what they know. We think there is merit to both calls and that the government should respond quickly and positively. Nevertheless, it is obvious that the Ghana police force needs an urgent major overhaul. The input of foreign expertise would be invaluable in any such effort if they were to ever find PPP government favor. The Ghana police force is hurting. It shows and cannot be denied. There must be a willingness to deal with what stares it in the face without delay. That is the editorial from the Kaicho News on the 11th of September. Folks, again, it's not we saying so. I mean, the problem is, even when they talk about what Kemra Dramjatan said, what Mr. Nigel Yu said, what Slow and Conway have been saying, they don't want to listen to the message. They look at the messenger, and because it is coming from us, they believe that it should be ignored. But there can be no doubt, as the editorial said, the Ghana police force needs help badly. It needs help. And we're going to analyze this editorial in a short while. But before I do so, let me bring Mr. Conway for him to obviously say on this editorial. This very interesting comments there. CC, what are your views? I'm sure you would have read it.
Yeah, I read it, And the thing is that the Ghana police force cannot heal itself. Something you get a wound and with time and it get healed. But the wounds that has been inflicted on the Ghana police force, They're felonious. It has maimed, it has disfigured, and it has disabled the Guyana police force. It's felonious. And it has dented whatever little public confidence we had, people had in the Guyana police force. And no police force can be effective if there isn't public confidence in the police force. I was saying, if there's no public confidence in the police force, you'll have people with eyes who will not see, with ears who will not hear, with tongues who will not speak, with nose who will not smell, with feet who will not walk and go in the police station and give them some information, with hands that will not write or type something, and it's important thing that police aren't there 24/7. They depend heavily on the public to come to see, to hear, to come and tell them what's going on. But if there's no public confidence in the police as going on now, it will nothing. What should happen at Matthews Ridge? You tell me people didn't see a airstrip being built. You have to have heavy duty equipment. People didn't see or hear aircraft touching down there. Huh? People didn't see maneuvers taking place there. Huh? And then what happened to the what we call the intelligence committee? That was a committee. I don't know if it's still in existence. A committee that was formed that include members of the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Geology and Mines Commission, the Lands and Survey, Large and Small Scale Mining, Regional Intelligence Committee, Station Management, Community Policing, Neighborhood Police, and others. They made up of others. You telling me they didn't hear anything? They ain't seen anything? They ain't coming forward and talking to the police? No, because they don't have public confidence in the police force, because the police has been maimed, it has been disfigured, it has been disabled, felonious wounding. Therefore, people not going to come forward. And if police, they're talking about the eye in the sky, and they're talking about the cameras, but boots on the ground. There have to be boots on the ground that observing things, that seeing and hearing, and then but even coming forward because of the wounds inflicted on the police, and there is no public confidence, very little public confidence in the police. Therefore, it cannot be effective.
Cannot be effective. Cannot be effective. You know, let me analyze certain aspect of this thing, because down to the end, coming down towards the end, it said that the force is in need of overall, major overall. So nevertheless, it is obvious that the Guyana Police Force is in need of an urgent, major overall. We've been saying it a long time. Overall or reform, whatever you want to call it, is in need of reform. But I say again that the police force, and I said this many years ago to Gail Teixeira when she was the Home Affairs Minister, and I was heading the police reform. I said to her that a reformed police force got to shed itself to some of the people who were wrong. And I had called some names. And it's the same thing still stand true today, that a reformed police force, or put it this way, the police force cannot be reformed if you have certain elements still remaining inside. Allegation of corruption at very, very senior levels. We know the story with the head of the major crime unit, the superintendent of police, pulled in and questioned at length by the federal authorities in New York. And what did the vice president say at the press conference? Oh, there's a matter for the police to deal with. You imagine that? You imagine that? People pull in a senior police officer and question him. Obviously, they're not going to do that. It's not a random thing. They must have questioned him in relation to some information they have, and more likely information that is criminal in nature. And the response of the vice president, Bara Jagdeo, was to say that there is a matter for the police administration. The people pull in the permanent secretary for the Ministry of Home Affairs. And as you would know, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the police force comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Question her at length, seized her phone, revoked her visa, and all of that. And what has happened? They moved her to her next ministry until such time that the US sanctioned her, and then I think they said she gone and leave and so on. But the thing is serious, and I say that if you're talking about reform, you cannot reform when you have the deformed people there. This reformation that is being touted by sensible people is something that requires a committed process, and I don't think the government is committed to any serious reform. Not so long ago, let me remind you, not so long ago, you had this British guy here who had assisted. He put out beautiful paper. I had a copy because I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission, and I was provided a copy with some of the suggestions and recommendations. Since 2020, like this thing that a natural death. So nobody is talking about reform anymore. Nobody is talking about reform. You have a lot of cosmetic arrangements being made. They're talking about promoting people. Rather than investigating, I heard a statement from the leader of the opposition the other day about promotion. Rather than investigating these people for corruption and all sort of thing, the government can't be serious. Allegations are made against senior police officers, and they are talking about initiating a process to have these persons promoted. My God, where are we? And all of this redound to the detriment of the society. Because, as we have said, you have incompetent people in these positions. And what you expect to happen is corruption and incompetence. The Chief Justice ruled on the 28th of June, 2021. In a ruling, she said that that Calvin Brutus, senior superintendent as he was then, she found that he was self-serving. That is what she said. The Chief Justice said so in a court ruling. And what did they do? They left him in the position, and then they promoted him. So now that allegations are made about financial impropriety in the same position, why are we surprised? Why are those who left him there not culpable? Having regards to the ruling of the court that this man is self-serving, what they do? They promoted him. So you want to tell me they're not complicit too? They are not complicit in this whole thing. So, and they talk about the reform, and they talk about the whole manner of things. And let me tell you this thing when they talk about the parliamentary subcommittee, parliamentary committee, and so on. But what I have been seeing going on in parliament, that ain't gonna happen. Because I don't know, we got to initiate it, they got a table motion, or whatever they got to do. But we can anticipate with some amount of certainty that given what goes on, it ain't gonna happen. The speaker is not gonna allow that. So you got to look at another avenue. And when they talk too about, at the end, they talk about the input of foreign expertise to assist. You remember not so long ago, the PPP, they bringing in Bernard Kerrick from New York, a criminally, I think he convicted after and served jail time, former commissioner of New York. That is the person who they were bringing in to assist in reforming the police, Bernard Kerrick. That is what the person who they were bringing in to help reform the force. So you see, they look towards criminals. They look towards people of their own ilk. That is what is going on. Bernard Kerrick. And they know about this involvement of other people. Let me tell you another story. Back in 1994, I was sent to head the Presidential Guard, Dr. Jagan. Dr. Jagan. Chedi Jagan was the president. I was put to head the guard because, according to what I was briefed and told, is that there was a move to remove the guard from under the police force, because the Presidential Guard, folks, is a unit within the Guyana Police Force. Right? The members of the guard are policemen and women. So they weren't pleased with how things were going. And efforts were being made to remove the guard from under the police, making an autonomous body. Larry Lewis and them didn't like that. So they sent me because, contrary to what Michael Young and them saying, I was so respected by all concerned, especially the PVP, that they believed that I was the only person who could have headed the guard and straightened it out and restore some confidence in it. So I went to the guard in 1994. I took over the Presidential Guard. Right? And you had there Albert and Rohan Singh were there as officers with me, and other people, and so on. I took some people in to try to bring some discipline and so on into the guard. I left a few months after taking over, and I went to the Police Staff College in the UK. That was a battle too, because I was earmarked to go since early in the year, And they kept putting it off, putting it off. I insisted, hey, me turn come to go now. I am going. I have to go. So I was sent to the Staff College in October, I think it was, of 1994. While in the UK studying, I got word that they were interviewing a particular individual to take over as the presidential, as the head of the presidential guard. 1994, yes, Sean, I can come to that. And do you know what they did? They brought in John Dre Paul. Let me repeat that. Civilian, not the police. John Dre Paul. Yeah, the same John Slingshot, the Calypsonian Dre Paul. They brought him in and he took over the presidential guard. So when I returned from the UK, sometime late December or something like that, Dre Paul had taken over the guard. The Calypsonian Slingshot Dre Paul took over. So they understand you could bring people in to take over, people with some amount of competence. And I can tell you that Dre Paul did not last long because he confided in me. Because what they told him was opposite to what it really was. They painted a picture that the old people, the older folks who were there, were unprofessional. And he said he found that to be untrue. The ones who were unprofessional were the ones who came in when the government came to office in 1992. That's what that was said. And then John Dre Paul couldn't take the nonsense, and he left the work and he went away. When I talk the story, people don't believe me. John Dre Paul, Slingshot Dre Paul, he wasn't the police. He wasn't anything. He didn't somewhere in Miami or somewhere in the US, making the Calypso and doing whatever he did. And they brought him to take over the guard. We had frequent interactions because we became friends. So they know they can look for people who are not Bernard Carrick and this disgraced set of people. Not them. You got to bring people who are competent, people who are professional. But they don't want that. I continue to say that it is my view that the current government do not want to professionalize the police force, because a professional police force cannot be weaponized in the way it has been weaponized now, to go after critics, to go after people who speak out, people who speak the truth. A professional police force will never do that. As we have said before, unlawful order, people tell you, no, that is not lawful, I'm not doing that. I'm not sending a policeman from Ghana to New York to say they're serving salmon or to recuperate the serve salmon on a man. I'm not doing that. People will tell them that. But they want to have this weaponized force. So whatever they tell them, you tell them, jump. They're going to ask you, how high you must jump. And they're going to jump even higher than you tell them. You tell them jump 6 feet. The son turn Olympian, they're going to jump 10 feet. That is what is going on. Let me bring you, Mr. Conway, to have some more of this batting, man. CC, yeah, go ahead with the same issue.
Yeah, and about reforming the Guyana police force, as you mentioned, they cannot be reformed with certain people there at the top, and there's crisis at the top. There's crisis at the top. They got vacancy for 6 deputy commissioners, and nobody acting as deputy commissioner. Nobody has acting or confirmed deputy commissioner. All of them masquerading as deputy commissioners, and then you even have at the top, to the very top, an extended squad there, and he say he's staying till after election. I mind the words, until after elections. Then it's really going to say until after elections. It's significant after the election. So the president and Mekeno deputy commissioner, perhaps he doesn't have confidence in it, and he got a right to. Because when you look at the pretenders there, one, if they only make a deputy commissioner, the US going to take away his visa because of his alleged association with certain businessmen and certain drug people. And another one, they put it for the intelligence, and he can't give actionable intelligence. One is highly political, taking instructions from Carmichael Street. When you look at the current people at the top there, to use common term, they get a couple years are good, but the rest not there. Vacancy for 6, and the president and making nothing. So what they're doing now, there's no unity. They're talking against Matty. This one want to make this man look better and all kind of thing. They're showing up Matty, when they want to show that they can do the work. And that is where there's no synergy there. And the things trickling down to the bottom. And I must repeat that for the president to make a deputy commissioner, all he gotta get meaningful consultation with members, with the chairman of the leader of the opposition, and the chairman of the police service commission, who would have consulted with other members, but they are making nothing. So there's confusion, there's chaos, there's this unity. No unity, there's no unity among them. And that's where the problem is, and it's filtering down to the bottom. If the president gets so much confidence in them, why can't he promote them or make them acting? But no, it's not happening because of what, because of the quality or the lack of quality that they get on there. But they gotta bite the bullet. They got to be bloodletting. Get rid of some of them. Pay them off and let it go along the way. Let it go along the way. But no, keeping them there, maybe divide and rule policy about the places. So, the thing is that there's no unity at the top, and they don't have enough quality people at the bottom there. Then they're not sending people on overseas courses. Then they're not training. There's no succession planning. There's no career development in the Ghana police force. What's going on in the training? They're treating training like a unmarried, unwanted, pregnant stepdaughter. A woman who got and spent all the years in Russia doing forensic science, and she come back with no experience in training, and she's heading the training. The commandant in Georgetown, no training background. The commandant of the Felix Arson Police College in Borbis, no training background. The commandant of the Richard Feichel, no training background. And don't talk about the instructors. They're not instructors. They send them on a 2 weeks course and they make them instructors. It takes about 2 years before you become instructor. So training, which is critical, succession planning, which is critical, career development, which is critical, is not being done. Therefore, what they gotta do is they're marking time with the police force, and the unprofessional behavior will continue.
I agree with you. I let me say this, Let me say this. Can I talk about the making of deputies? Now, there are not many persons who are qualified. That is the problem you have. That is when you look at the top. Some of them not even qualified to hold the positions that they currently hold. And as I've repeatedly said, this qualification we're talking about is not only some of them might go and get a degree, a master's degree. That doesn't qualify you to lead a police force or to lead a division. You're talking about being honest, being a leader where you can get people to follow you, where you can train the people properly. You don't have the type of quality. You have a man there in a senior position who during the previous administration was subjected to, along with others, the polygraph test, lie detector test. And the man failed. And my understanding is among the questions that were asked and the person could not have responded positively to is that were you ever the beneficiary of the largesse from drug trade? In other words, did you ever benefit from the people involved in drug? And the answer that provided proved that the man lied. In other words, the test, it was suggesting that the man benefited from the drug trade. And there are people who are there. I'm not talking about people in the past because they had said the same thing about the late Henry Green, but I'm talking about people who now sit in senior positions. So again, where are you going to go? You're going to just promote them because they get vacancy when you know that they are not suited for these positions? That is the problem that you have. That is if you fail like the detector test, fail, and then I ask them if you give blow or anything like that. They ask you things related to the work. Have you benefited from the drug trade? And whoever answer the give is lie. In other words, they said no. And the thing proved that they lie. And them are the people that you have around the place. So it's a serious, serious problem. And I don't know that the government has the political will to make the changes that are necessary. And as I've said, I have observed in recent time, there seems to have been a withdrawal by the international people used to help. They are not any longer, as far as I know, coming for, yeah, one cosmetic thing, send it on a little programming, send it on a little programming. But in terms of the programs that can have significant impact on the reform of the force, that seems to have been, to have dried up. You ain't getting those things any longer. And that is significant because the force in its current state, as suggested by this editorial, cannot be reformed from within alone. It cannot be reformed from within the force or from within the country. You've got to get expertise, professional help to reform the current Guyana police force. You have a situation where, as was alluded to in this editorial, major drug find, the biggest land-based. Let me play this thing to you. Let me play this and then we go segue in. Listen to this. Listen to this report, folks. Listen to this. This relates to the recent drug bust and what is going on. Listen to this. It's what? Just about a minute and a half. Listen.
Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken told reporters that he's unaware that his regional commander of Region 1 and some police officers are on the probe by Kanu following the 4.4 tons of cocaine found at Matthews Ridge in Region 1 over the weekend. This as images of the commander are making the rounds on social media over his alleged involvement in the $40 billion cocaine seizure. Hicken spoke with members of the press today at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
I saw something published in the papers. We don't do it like that. If there's an involvement, there will be an investigation, and Suku's leading in this regard. Kanu's leading in this regard. So James Singh is right there. You can go talk to him.
Will you be concerned about that? Did you receive any complaints?
No.
Any senior officer in Region 1?
No, I've not received any complaint. And so what I'll do now that you're telling me this, because I saw something in social media this morning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to engage James Singh. He's right over there. And so I'll ask him to brief you so you can get a better understanding of who we're involved and who we're not involved. That's what we heard. That's why I'm saying I don't know, and if that's the case, there will be an investigation. I just said that to you. When I read it, first of all, I congratulated James Singh. Initially, we spoke when the operation was going on, but when I read the papers this morning, I said I'm going to engage him, and if there's an investigation coming out from Kanu, then we will, of course, follow it up when we get information, of course.
However, sources told this newscast that the probe by Kanu has widened and several persons are under investigation by the unit. The cocaine was found some 30 minutes from an illegal airstrip in Matthews Ridge.
Now, folks, we are in serious trouble, you know. We are in serious trouble. That you saw there was the acting commissioner, Clifton Hicken. He was responding to questions in relation to the recent drug bust, 4,400 kilograms of cocaine, they say with a street value of over 200 million US dollars. The acting commissioner is telling the public, telling Guyanese, that he saw something because there was some thing on social media saying that the commander of the region, the police commander, is implicated. And here he is telling people he saw something in social media, but he is going to talk with the head of Kanu. He ain't talked to you yet. One would have thought that if you were competent and if you were really interested in getting to the bottom, until you see it on social media, let's assume they kept you out of the dark as they did. They didn't want the police involved in this operation for reasons best known to themselves. My suspicion is that the people don't have no faith and trust in the police, so the DA or whoever else would have been involved decided not to tell the police, Guyana police. That in itself is a major indictment. But here it is. The acting commissioner is saying he saw it on social media that one of his senior officers involved, and he will speak. He had immediately pick up the phone to call to find out what's going on. He will speak to James Singh, the head of Kanu. That in itself, too, I tell you, is enough evidence to tell this man pack and go home. The man has passed retirement age. should pack up and go home. You are there. You got a major operation, according to the report. This is an operation that lasted for perhaps weeks in the area. The people who are involved in this operation are people from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit of Guyana, the Special Forces of the Guyana Defense Force, and the Drug Enforcement Agency of the U.S. The police, Guyana Police Force, the primary law enforcement agency in Guyana, is kept in the dark throughout. Even what you just said, James Singh briefly, during the operation, or not brief, he spoke to him during the operation. During the operation is already started when they tell you why. They don't tell you before because they don't have no faith and trust that this information would not have been leaked. That is the only conclusion any right-thinking person can come to. So they didn't tell you. And even after that now, oh, you didn't know. But if you didn't know all of this, why you transfer the commander? The commander was removed within a day or two. M. Nath Shah, Regional Commander, Region 1, removed from the region and put to head the transport workshop, taken over from a cadet officer. He's a senior superintendent, the fourth most senior rank in the police force. You get commissioner, you get deputy commissioner, you get assistant commissioners, and then you get senior superintendent. He's removed to put to head the transport workshop. He's taken over from a cadet officer. Understand this. Understand this. And even more, we talk about this thing like a report to the Ethnic Relation Commission. Because when Shah was removed, I think the chap named Tapin, a deputy superintendent, was made to take over. And within days of that, my understanding is that when the government people hear that Tapin taking over Region 1, they said, nah, they don't want Tapin. They tell them that they send Ramana, the same controversial Ramana who had arrested the lawyer for advising our client to remain silent. He is now sent to be in command of Region 1. And when you look at the crystal ball tells me that, he handed over to a deputy superintendent, the yard. My crystal ball is telling me that the yard ain't going to last long there. As a commander for Region 4B, he's not going to last long. That is what is going on. When you talk about these things, they vex. They attack you. They want to charge you. They want to kill you. They want to do all kind of things. They cannot handle the truth. But in the same Michael Young article that I read to you, Michael Young, the German from the Volkswagen company, same thing. It says here, and that was the headline of the article, speak the truth, shame the devil. That's exactly what we're doing. Speak the truth and shame the devil. That is what he said in the article. But now that we're speaking the truth and shaming the devil, they're coming behind you with vengeance. They're coming after you with vengeance. That statement, the previous one, where I'm not play it, man. I don't want to mislead you all, Let me play the previous statement by the acting commissioner in relation to the money story. Listen to it again.
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There was no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who served
no investigation whatsoever, no deposit. Then you come to this one, you hear that your commander or police, don't say commander, give the benefit. You hear that police might be involved, and you will speak to James Singh. You will speak to him, never know anything. If that one wasn't sufficient for them to tell him, pack your things and go. This one here, where you have all of this story with cocaine and so on, first of all, the people chose to exclude. I'm going to talk to a friend, exclude out. A friend used to say, they exclude you out. To exclude you out from, from this thing, big drug boss, biggest land drug boss ever in Guyana. Guyana Police Force not involved. They are sidelined. And then they might come and tell you that he saw on social media that police might be fingered. And it did not occur to him that he should immediately jump in, perhaps because he knew exactly what was going on. Perhaps the reason why he didn't jump in to find out who involved or what is the level of the involvement, because he knew what was going on. So it did not come as a surprise to him. That's a conclusion one can come to, a reasonable conclusion from a reasonable person. But this thing is worrying. This thing has impact for national security. Talking about national security, I wonder where the national security advisor there. Well, last I checked, they said the national security advisor was Jerry Govaya, as he is known. With all what going on, all this threats to national security, the man is silent. I wonder where Robeson went there. You ain't hearing nothing from Robeson. Robeson spoke at this same thing there with the drug bust. The man sounded nervous, the man looked jittery, the man looked shaky, and all this everything. They flew in the media. Imagine with that drug bust. I tell you, you got to analyze this thing carefully. Once the drug was uncovered, they flew in the media from Georgetown. I guess they would have flown from Oakley Strip, charter plane, no doubt, carry them in there. They didn't carry police. They didn't carry the man in charge of the force. They did not carry special branch. They did not carry the operations man. They didn't carry nothing. They did not even carry the commander for the region. They took They took in the media to brief them on the spot and for them to witness the destruction of the cocaine. But them thing is serious implication for national security. Serious. The people entrust them. And they talk about the president. We got to come back to this thing on Wednesday. Because the president is making a statement here now. Following this, we're not going to finish it, but I'm going to give a little synopsis. Because the president made a statement following this. President songs warning to drug dealers in wake of big Matthews Ridge bust. President make a lot of statement. We're going to come back to this on Wednesday because we don't have enough time to deal with it now. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to start to wind down for today. Cece, let me hear your final. Well, let's final for now because this matter is such a big matter. We got to analyze the statement made by the president in respect to this drug bust, and then so Wednesday, God's willing, we will do that. So go ahead, my brother.
Okay, let me just remind the police, about their constitutional role. And go back to the Police Act, chapter 1601, and it talks about constitution and employment of the force. And it talks about designation and objects of the force. And section 3.1 say, there shall be established in Guyana a police force to be known as the Guyana Police Force. Section 2. The police shall be employed for the prevention and detection of crime, the preservation of law and order, the preservation of the peace, the repression of internal disturbance, the protection of property, the apprehension of offenders, and here it is, and the due enforcement of all laws and regulation with which it is directly charged, and shall perform such military duties within Guyana or as may be required of it by or under the authority of the minister. Here is it, this big bus drug thing there, and the police not involved. The commission talking that he gonna ask James Singh to brief the press. Is he gonna brief the press? Not James Singh. James Singh is head of Kanu. Kanu is not even gonna see somebody wrote it in the press there that Kanu is a member of the Joint Service. Kanu is not a member of the Joint Service. Kanu is not a member of the Joint Service, and the commissioner saying that he gonna ask James Singh to brief the media. Is it commissioner or the extended squatter has got to brief members of the public, and he's saying things in the media, and he ain't doing nothing but it? That should prompt him into action right away to check on it, see whether it's true or not. They say his commander, his Region 1 is fingered in it. Yeah? And then James Singh mentioned that they had briefed the Commander Region 1. It should have been the other way around. The commander should have been briefing Suku and others. They get this whole thing upside down, and then they move the commando and put him to take over from a cadet officer. And technically, a cadet officer is not an officer. A cadet officer is somebody who's training to become an officer. Somebody who's training to become an officer. And there's if you have a senior superintendent, he didn't take over from a superintendent or senior super. He didn't take over from a deputy superintendent. He didn't take over from an assistant superintendent. He took over from a cadet officer, somebody who is training to become an officer. Where is the succession planning in the Ghana Police Force? Yeah? A big drug thing, and then the international organization, DA, not involving the police in it. They don't have trust, they don't have confidence in the Ghana Police Force. And then you ask, what is the role of the special branch? Anyway, special branch is a dumping ground. They take the triple jumper and make it head of the special branch. And what made the CID? What made the man and the CWAL there? They're not involved in it. It's a red slap in the face of the Ghana Police Force that the CID not involved, the special branch not involved, the regional commander not involved. Whether say he fingered in it, you know. This whole thing is unbelievable what's happening there. And there is the commission saying he's going to ask James Singh to brief the press. Is the commissioner got to take total control? Did the law talk about, and let me repeat part of it, and due enforcement of all laws and regulation with it is directly charged, not KANU, not the GDF. It is a responsibility of the police. Yes, they will work along with KANU and GDF, but it is the sole responsibility of the Ghana Police Force. And the commission, the acting squad are just masquerading about the place. It is shocking, Paul. It is shocking.
It's shocking. You use two words and we got to upbraid you on. They said we talk about the commander is fingered. Must be because of the fingering make them Germans and them people from the Volkswagen company coming after me. They must get finger or they want to be fingered. Maybe that's it. And let me tell you something. One of the problems with the Ghana Police Force right now is that because of poor leadership, they have lost their way. And look, they get, I continue to say, they have honest, hardworking, professional ranks in the police force, especially at the middle and junior level. But as somebody say, if you're led by a clown, it's a circus you're in. If you are led by a clown, you're going to end up in a circus, and that is what is happening. The force has lost its way. So they're going to cleaning up road, cleaning up shit around CUL and so on. Big mobilization to have that done. You hear the mobilization to deal with all the crime, all the drive-by shooting and execution shooting up to a couple of days ago. They're not mobilizing to deal with that. Accidents almost every other day, fatal accidents on the road. People are dying. They're not mobilizing to deal with that, but they can mobilize to clean the seawall. Political thing they gone about mobilize. So they handing out. Because people like the acting commissioner believe they are politicians. They're not police officers doing policing work. They believe them as politicians. They see the politician run around and janky-laring around the place. That is what they want to do too. They're imitating those people. But you have a mandate as a police force. Carry out your mandate. Let me show you how much they're losing their way. They have lost, not losing, they have lost their way. Not so long ago, about a month or so ago, we heard that they get big mobilization, cleanup campaign. They're going to clean up the place. And then they came up with a statement saying people are going to be charged. The man in charge of operations there, Watts, sent out a message that he wants, they're going to campaign for the people who littering. And they must send a daily, weekly, monthly return, blah, 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 as the persons who are arrested, persons who are charged. What happened to that? This is about 3 to 4 weeks ago. What has happened to that? What has happened to that? Nothing. And that is part of the problem. You have people, I am sure, who are willing, if they are properly led, people ranks in the force right now who are willing to do the correct thing, but they need leadership, they need training, they need guidance, and that is not forthcoming. And that is why you have people who are applying to leave the force by the hundreds. It was reported that over 700 people in the past couple of years have tendered their resignation and have walked off the job. They're not addressing that. All the acting commission, the extended squad, has said earlier this year that one of the challenges they get is to attract and retain people in the force. And at the same time, you say, imagine that. Tell you how they've lost their way. One of the main focus, he said at the opening day officer conference, is to deal with cybercrime. So when Slow and Conway and them come attack, they're dealing with that. But the issues, extrajudicial killing, drive-by shooting, carnage on the road, that is not a major concern, according to what that squatter said. And therefore, why are we surprised when things are spiraling downward at a rapid pace? Poor leadership. And not only at the police level, at the national level. Remember what that GSK last said? GSK last said, what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out-of-control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. And I got to leave you another tape to show you before we clock out. Remember this one here? Remember this one?
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes.
Who? Su? Brain gone into overdrive. Shock. Set up. Caught in the slips. And no investigation. So how can people take these people seriously? No investigation into that. That most damning allegation. The most serious allegation that I know of ever made against any politician in Guyana. Perhaps even in the Caribbean as well. And the allegation was that the vice president takes money from businessmen, $500,000 US dollars for contract. And the Su that they're referring to is the man who is said to have been the middleman. So he's a Chinese national, and therefore he negotiates. Or as a Patrick, or as a short man would say, he negotiates on behalf of these people. Them thing and investigating. So how people can be take these people seriously? How can they be taken seriously? Folks, they said time does fly when you're enjoying the thing. We are at the end. And therefore, I say to you, we have a lot more to discuss. We have a lot more, but we can't do it today. We cannot do it today. God's Spirit Life next day, 2 days, Wednesday, we're going to be here again to bring you another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, I am cautioning you. You get monkeypox. You get dengue fever. You get the road fever, on the road ags on the road, killing people. You get robbery. You get drive-by shooting. You get all of these things. So I implore you to stay well, to be safe until we meet again on Wednesday. So take care. And when we come again Wednesday, we will continue and we're going to bring you whatever else we have to tell you about. Until then, stay well.